This is AV SuperFriends Off the Rails, an almost regularly scheduled open discussion on audio and video in higher education. We'll sound off about our most brilliant ideas, our dumbest mistakes, and everything in between. And because this conversation will almost certainly go off the rails at some point, we'll end up covering just about everything else. And now, the AV SuperFriends. For August 8th, 2025, it's the best-sounding, most technically focused, and most professionally relevant podcast in higher ed. I'm going to keep adding to that. This is the AV SuperFriends Off the Rails, episode number 120. And it's true, and anyone who disagrees, come fight me. Because
it's kind of pushing it a little bit, though.
There's a lot of stuff out there that is none of those.
Well,
don't sound good, not talking about technical topics.
There's room for voices,
not professionally
Chris.
relevant.
There's room
there's plenty of room for voices. Just don't phrase it as something.
Don't talk around me? Is that what you're going to say?
Just don't trick people into subscribing to your non-relevant show. So, anyway, it's, we're late by 2 minutes. I'm going to change this. It's 3:17 Eastern, 12:17 Pacific. And you know what that means? Traffic's jammed on the fiber highway. The forecast calls for an 87% chance of handshake failure and the smell of freshly unwrapped LCD monitors in the air, which means it must be August. The interns are almost gone. The faculty are circling the parking lots, and if your firmware's not up to date, you better fake it till Thanksgiving.
I didn't approve this.
My interns are out.
Yeah, Jamie's killing his interns. You're tuned in to AV SuperFriends Off the Rails. We're broadcasting coast to coast, rack to stack, patched and powered. I'm Chris Dector. You're tuned in for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure. And let's say hello to our chatty group of AV SuperFriends with this one. Our first contestant has been ensuring that every cable, every port, and every wall plate is tagged in 11-point aerial, left-aligned, and kerned just so. He's the Director of Data Label Consistency from Kansas City. Say hello to Mr. Jamie Reinhardt.
Hey, the only consistency we have is no labels at all.
Perfect.
Go for it.
Be right on the cable, in marker, sort of.
Black marker,
Our next panelist, no, sometimes they're red, sometimes they're black, then you know the difference. Our next panelist checks each classroom for working technology, clean markers, and the perfect amount of subtly condescending laminated signage. He's a strategic coordinator of room readiness assurance from Corvallis, Oregon. Say hello to Mark Kolowazinski.
These rooms are ready. The technology may not be.
Our next panelist tests every button, every switch, and every touch panel before faculty arrive, just so they can ignore it and call the help desk anyway. He's an instructional infrastructure pre-vetter from Greensboro, North Carolina. Say hello to Larry Darling.
This isn't like a made-up job or anything. Like, this is what I've done this past week.
It's what we all do. You sensing a theme here?
Yes.
And our final panelist crafts cheerful PowerPoint decks for digital signage messages that loop for eternity and play just the perfect royalty-free music track to say, we're ready for fall. He's a vice president of Welcome Slide Optimization from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Say hello to Mr. Justin Rexing.
See, I didn't know my job scope. I just read the title, and I thought I was working at an amusement park. I didn't know
Different
I was
kind
doing
of
Pumpkin spice digital signage.
My bad.
There we go.
My
All
fault.
right. Well,
Anyway.
we'll continue
Okay.
with our level of professional relevancy here. On today's show, we're going to discuss last-minute
this is
project requests
questionable.
and how we respond to them. It's not questionable at all, damn it. Have you listened to the other nonsenses out there? I'm going to get
Did you just
real
hear what
passionate
we
about
just
it.
Well,
did?
I'm just talking about
you just
our
hear what we
relevancy,
just
not
did?
everybody else's.
Seriously.
And we're going to talk about what's in a room check. But first, let's do some housekeeping. So whether you're listening to this recording, please know that we do, whenever you're listening to this recording, please know that we do stream live most Fridays around 3:15 Eastern, 12:15 Pacific, or whenever we get our act together and actually get things off the ground. You can find us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and sometimes we can take your calls when I figure that out. If you can't join us live, please follow us on the socials. We're on Twitter, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and YouTube. Just search for AV SuperFriends. We're not that hard to find. Please share this show. Tell your friends, coworkers, enemies, and your mail carrier, or whoever. Just find people and tell them about the show. It's great.
Do y'all
if you want
talk
to
to your
support
mail
us,
carriers? I don't.
you don't.
I don't know them.
Do you make it a point to not talk to them? You're like, I'm just...
He runs away.
Well, it's a long driveway, and they kind of in the distance.
Ooh, a
the
long
distance.
driveway. You don't have one of those giant neighborhood collector mailboxes that don't even have to get out of their trucks anymore. So
No, we don't have that.
If you want to support us, there's a donation link in the show notes or at avsuperfriends.com. Every little bit helps us to keep the lights on and keeps the nonsense flowing. If you have a topic you want us to talk about, hit us up at mailbag at AV SuperFriends or on the socials aforementioned. Just search for AV SuperFriends. You'll find us out there. And please do rate and review the show on whatever platform you are listening to us on. Hopefully not Apple Podcasts. It does help bump us up in the algorithms and more people to listen to us. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, for all those of you on it because it's just your default app, go get a better app out there. So please. There are many features you're not seeing because you're using Apple Podcasts, and they are kind of like sticks in the mud, I guess. Would be
bare bones podcast.
I feel like you're talking to me.
Likely.
Talking to a lot of people because it is still by far the #1 platform, as terrible as it may be. So
Yep. I listen. I mean, I'm not
It's just
guilty.
easier. It's like the Outcam. It's just easy.
it's just there, yes.
Oh my
regardless
God.
of the
It's just
feature set.
Just stop.
Thank you all for listening.
All righty. With all that said, we're going to take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors as to some awesome technology from Independent Amalgamated you need to get involved in real quick. And then we're going to come back, and we've got a news story for you, which everyone is now going to frantically skim through because no one's read it except me.
Correct.
Yes. So be right back.
Stop fighting a tangled web of Ethernet cables and power cords to PoE injectors. Are you sick of your network switches failing to provide enough power when you need them most? Well, buckle up, folks, because we've got something that will blow your socks off. Introducing the latest innovation from the brilliant minds who couldn't quite make it in the world of audio engineering. That's right, we're talking about gain-sharing PoE, the game changer in network switch technology by Independent Amalgamated. Imagine a network switch that not only delivers power over Ethernet, but also dynamically adjusts power distribution based on the needs of all the connected devices. Say goodbye to underpowered devices and hello to maximum efficiency. How does it work, you ask? Well, we've taken our expertise in microphone mixing and digital signal processing and applied it to create a revolutionary power distribution system. With gain-sharing PoE, the fewer devices you have connected, the more power each device gets. It's like a power party where everyone gets VIP treatment. And get this, folks, our patented Surge Amp technology ensures that power is available to your devices at lightning speed, with just a few milliseconds of delay. It's like magic, but better. So if you're ready to take your network to the next level, look no further than our advanced managed network switch featuring gain-sharing PoE. Because when it comes to power, we've got you covered. Visit our website or call now to get your hands on this cutting-edge technology before it's too late. Don't wait. Upgrade today and join the power revolution. Gain-sharing PoE from Independent Amalgamated.
Yes, get it.
I use it in every space. You guys not using it?
How can the key is I only have one. It does everything. Yeah. I don't even need to.
We don't have
Campus-wide.
audio, so it's
But if you did, you could have gain-sharing PoE.
we could do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, now that you've waited for it all week, it's time for hearing Justin sing along with the news jingle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which he does live every time. Believe it or
You
not.
should do it live.
He did once,
It'll be-
and then I recorded it, and now it's
But it'd be different. It'd be different every time. I just have
Automation.
to.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've heard it enough times. It should be exactly the same.
I have to practice it in front of the mirror, and it's just get in the way of my daily task. I don't know.
You want to go on American Idol?
Seems like a
That's
lot.
your
It's
audition
like I
song?
don't know if
Yeah.
wife will get pissed. You know, I don't know. It's just not worth it. I don't think.
Stop singing that "Yeah" song.
Yeah. It's like
All right, so our news story comes from EdSurge and is about using technology in the teaching space, which I guess we're not
I'm all
supposed
in
to
on
be
this.
talking about.
I'm
because-
I'm all for all of this article. 100%.
Let's do a different article. Let's talk
Have
about
you?
one that's this one's about like feelings and stuff. So anyway, so this is from EdSurge, and the title is "How Sci-Fi Taught Me to Embrace AI in My Classroom." And this comes from I believe it's a K-12 instructor, so I'm a little skeptical already. But his fundamental premise here is that AI is everywhere, so why not make that part of your curriculum? Don't try to avoid it, and but teach students how to leverage it as a tool, not as something to be afraid of or something to stay away from, because they're going to do it anyway. So at least let's be smart about it.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much.
But this gets beyond like the cheating thing that often like sucks up the whole headline. It's like, oh, the kids are going out and they're just finding the answers and pasting them in.
I still forbid to have calculators in my classes, so I don't.
That's fine.
You use a pencil, sir.
But I mean,
learn calculus, damn it.
Learn everything you want to learn. I mean, the key is like other folks and other people are going to be using AI, whether you like it or not. Would you rather know how to use it or not know how to use it? And can you use it as a strategic thought partner along that process? Yes or no?
Well, in the past month, I have found out that if you say, I'm going to go Google that, that means you're old and you're about to die. Because apparently now everybody says, I need to chat GPT that.
I like to say, I'm going to go check with my assistant. Let me get back to you on that.
Damn, dude, I still say I'm going to Google that, but I'm in chat GPT. It's just
You're
like,
about to die.
Yeah.
Like
Seriously.
Kleenex.
That was the moral of the story
I'm
from
on the
Larry.
last legs here because I said that and all my students laughed at me.
Google's a verb.
It used to be. Now it's dead.
It's dead?
Yeah.
So, Larry, did they say I'm going to go chat GPT that or I'm going to go GPT that?
Both are acceptable. As
that
long as
sounds
it's
like
not Google, it's acceptable.
Sounds terrible.
But Google's easy. It's like 2 syllables and easy to say. I don't know.
I'm just saying that just like when we were in school, like we were the first of the internet era, we're in the same transition now where the students who are going to be in our classes are used to using these tool sets. And so
Well, I mean, yeah.
I think some of this, even when it was, quote, cheating, I find it weird because we're teaching, when we're educating, we're trying to get people ready so that they can produce in the regular world. And there's going to be new tools. There's always new tools. So this is, it's almost taking that premise of that project-based learning and just, that's what it is. Yeah. Look, we're going to use the tools available to us to get better at whatever that is.
Where it looks wrong for a lot of folks is coming to realize that our education system is not configured correctly, right? We are set up for this mass, bring these kids in all the same age, this whole group, we're going to run them through, and it doesn't work. And AI challenges that right away. You can be self-paced, you can have different age disparities. It's really a whole lot more individualized, and that's what the AI tools are allowing to happen, is that it's disrupting how we have historically thought about our education systems and how we actually move our students through that. It's not set up for the industrial revolution anymore. Like, this is a different paradigm, and like that's what you're starting to see. A lot of the concerns is testing people's biases of what they recognize as education, and these tools are going to turn it on end, and you can either put your head in the ground and ignore it and go away, or acknowledge it and make yourself better for it.
I think it's a little ironic too that to Larry's point, we were like, our generation, we're all about the same age. We're the first ones to really have internet at our fingertips whenever. Right? It was coming along. So we remember when it was all just encyclopedias and library, and then you could look stuff up. And what were
you couldn't use the encyclopedia. Remember, you couldn't use that one.
But remember, they used to tell us, not everything you read online is accurate. Not everything you read online is from credible sources. Double check everything. Have a little bit of skepticism, but learn something and move along. And it's
Who told you that?
Our parents, our teachers, and
They
now
didn't tell me
I'm out there. Well, that's why you kept getting blocked at the school for looking at boobies.com. But
do any of you remember
we
the
worked on
site
typewriters.
otherpeoplespapers.com? Does that ring a bell to anybody? This is like back in the 90s. This is like, and you could just go on there and search entire like papers and download
just download
them.
somebody's paper.
Yeah.
That was what LexisNexis was for. You go get the papers from there and just change the title.
I remember like we had internet well before a lot of folks in our class. I'm like, bro, I can just get you that paper. You want to get that paper? I'll get you that right now, man.
What
So
do you
you're
need?
dealing
Save you
papers?
a whole weekend.
Yeah.
That's what you did in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it was Wild West out there, man.
And you couldn't use internet sources because they couldn't be. You had to use book sources for all your research papers. Anyway, the thing is that the irony here is that we're in that same boat again. Use the tool that's available to you, but bring in a little bit of skepticism and a little bit of double checking, because we've all had that like Justin was talking about a couple of weeks ago. You've got this. He put in all of his information for his invoice, and then it took the speakers out. Right? And you're like, so double check it. Just make sure it's what you want.
You just can't use it as a database. It just doesn't remember anything.
So I'm all in with the article. Like, be comfortable with it. Let's find better ways to use it. And
so I actually listened to our podcast recently where it was.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
was it relevant and on
it was
topic?
relevant.
On
and it was
Apple?
the
Did you listen to it on Apple?
Yeah, I did.
See.
Of the Khan Academy, right? Really in depth about the Khan Academy and how they're leveraging AI in there as well, right? And it's partnering with students, partnering with faculty, and so it really is that assistant going through, and it also is checking students along the way, right? And so it knows like, hey, little Johnny put this in here. This doesn't seem like little Johnny's authentic in this. So it recognizes their voice and it's really challenging them to kind of keep through it. It's helping them walk through that, right? Yeah, exactly. And so
I wrote that in 1972.
Right. But understanding that you can use this to better personalize the educational experience. And I think that's the key in getting past the fears and getting through all that. It's the same as going back like before the printing press.
Well,
there were people sage on stage like, oh, these books are going to put us out of jobs. Well, guess what? Yeah. Instructors and teachers used books. It wasn't the end of the world. This is the new book.
It was the church really pushing that.
Right.
But in recent weeks, we've had OpenAI and was it Perplexity? Somebody else, they announced like a specific one for students, like
Claude.
Yeah.
It was Claude AI.
Yes,
That's
Claude.
right. They said here's like our student like study version or whatever.
Yeah.
People are going to do this anyway, so we're going to put some rails around it and kind of it's going to operate a little differently, but they're going to use it anyway. So might as well get your sources in here and leverage this as a study and teaching tool rather than just using the general LLM interface and just dump it in whatever's in there. So.
I do really appreciate the way he explains AI to his students, though. It's like a really smart child.
Yes.
It's easily influenced by bad information, and it doesn't care if it's right or wrong. Yep. Like, as long as you go in with that understanding,
it's very forgetful.
Yeah.
Well, and it wants to please you, so it will tell you everything you tell it is fantastic.
You know,
but
for a guy that doesn't use it, I'm starting to be convinced. It listens to what I want. It gives me the information I want. It tries to please me. This sounds like a good deal.
I actually use it
will
the
give
opposite
you
way.
information that you think you want, but it may be wrong.
I use the opposite.
Look,
I ask
want
my AI to say, no, play the contrarian role. And I think that's where you can actually set up and say your persona is going to be this. You're going to take the role of a CIO or an executive director, and you're going to be skeptical of what this is. Please give me the examples of that.
It's
and
not going to be a good relationship.
But that's how you can. That's how you can start to leverage it. Stop.
Do you have
asking
another
it for
one that's therapy?
I have to get another login and another.
Here, but read this and then therapy that for me.
So, but I think it's using it more creatively than just go hunter gatherer, find me the answer. Like
Right, and that's the point. It's like
Yes.
it is I can't remember who said it, but it's the wild west as far as like just it's a blank prompt window. You can put whatever you want in, and you will get out anything possible in there. But you may want to put some rails around that and dial it in a bit. And those of you who are simply using it for writing because it's easier to write an email or write a message or write a summary, well, that's one thing it can do. That's about 3% or 1%, whatever. Take that text before you send it to your boss or whomever and go to, 0GPT, put it in there. It'll tell you what percentage of what you've written is just in the standard that this looks like AI slop, and then kind of massage that text and rewrite it a bit so it gets that score down so it doesn't look like you're just using AI.
My niece told me that all the kids in her school will use ChatGPT to write their papers, and then they'll take ChatGPT and run it through Grammarly to change the voice of the paper, and then they turn it in.
Yeah. I mean, you can prompt.
So
you
use
can build your own
3
narrative.
different AI apps, and then it'll be really confusing.
Yeah.
I use GPT all the time to build prompts for Copilot.
Like, did a squirrel write this? Like, what is this?
I like how Copilot can't read my Teams messages to get more information. So
It's configuration and your
It's
organizational structure.
it's how it's built out. It's just aggravating.
You didn't pay enough. That's basically
That's part of it, yeah.
That's what I
part of
learned is that you didn't pay enough.
All right, so AI
More to
is the
come.
future. Use it wisely, but if you don't, students will figure out a way to do it anyway. So
They're using it already. Keep up with the Joneses.
we're going to take a quick break. We're going to, Jamie, I think this is the actual
Yes,
time when we're
yes.
supposed to run the commercial. When
Got
I do
it.
correctly. Hey, last time I screwed up, so I just yelled over the commercial.
Okay.
Probably one of the last times we'll hear this one, a new version coming soon. The AV SuperFriends are sponsored by Computer Comforts Incorporated. CCI has been building tech furniture for the education market since 1987. Instructor lecterns, computer lab tables, collaborative tables, and active learning clusters are just a few of the many innovative products made by CCI. Speaking of lecterns, Computer Comforts has just released Evolve. If you're looking to future-proof your classroom, Evolve is the Swiss Army knife of lecterns. Seriously, this flexible lectern does it all. Not only is Evolve sit-to-stand and ADA compliant, it's also packed with tech-friendly features. And the best part, it ships fully assembled and ready for action. Check out the 90-second video to see all the options. Visit computercomforts.com/evolve. And by the way, we're going to be reaching out to everybody just through the show to get some feedback. CCI, we're working on a new version of not that commercial, a new version of a commercial, and they want to know kind of which options people prefer. Because if you haven't already, you can get darn near any option on these lecterns.
I'd like
to
for
the
it
point
to
where
have
there's
HVAC.
so many. Yes, I would like a dome
so
cooling
that
system.
it's truly a hot desk experience.
But there's
a
so
little
many
mini split
options,
in
it's
there.
almost kind of choice paralysis, and they want to know kind of what people are wanting as far as the most popular kind of like quick access.
We'll put together an
versions,
AVSF version and see if we can get that one sold.
Ooh, branded.
Custom.
So,
Yeah, every one of them comes with a QR code to the show.
and it Bluetooth speaker that plays it nonstop.
Yeah.
Oh, stop
Every
this.
time we go live, it comes on, no matter what.
with a battery backup.
Yeah.
I like the klaxon version, please.
Yes, I'd like that siren as loud as I want. The one from the tornado towers.
The tsunami warning would be good. Thank you.
All right, so
So
time for our first topic, which is
This one.
Topic. Talk. Hot takes. Topic 1 starts now.
Oh, here you go.
It's Jeffrey Tambor got to do that one. All right, so first topic for this show is that those last minute project requests. It's summer.
What?
Some of us on this panel will be bragging about how we did all our summer project planning in December, which we know isn't true.
Who? Which
But
one?
some people will claim that.
Larry.
I did, but I still got 2 of these requests this
Uh-huh,
week.
see? So we kind of, in general, what's a safe number? We're 2 to 3 months ahead of where actual projects can start at the minimum, right? Kind of like you're at about there. You're in that kind of like 8 to 10, 12 weeks minimum real time from the first contact until you're like actually installing or building or putting holes in walls.
in an optimal world, is that what we're talking about?
In general, in a very general sense.
Ish.
Some of
Yeah,
those
okay.
projects, if they're tied to classroom spaces that are scheduled for classes, you're 6-8 months out on some of these, depending.
Mm-hmm.
But being summer, we get those last minute requests of like, is there any way you could possibly sneak this in? And I'm curious, how do we all respond to it? Because we all clearly get those requests.
No.
It depends who's asking.
There is truth in that statement, Larry. It does
You're not
depend. who's
untrue, but
there are certain folks that make the word no much harder to just say. that way
Almost
because-
impossible.
We
Almost
allow
impossible.
them to say no to us after they ask that question by laying out all the crap that we have to do and say, is your
I find that most people
more
don't give a shit about
important
that.
than
The people that you can't
Oh,
say
they
no to
do.
really don't care about what you have
They
on your
do.
calendar.
I agree
when
with
it's
Mark on this.
when it's a stadium before the first football game, it's yeah.
I mean, I find that most clients at large really don't care what's on your calendar. They don't care what you need to do this week, let alone later on today. And so
Most clients don't, but somebody at the top, after you explain it, should.
and so
you're not wrong that they should.
but they don't care. They don't care how the sausage is made. They ordered a fucking sausage.
And then when
Get it
something
here.
doesn't get done, then the yelling goes to that person.
Yeah, so I think what it is
Yelling up the mountain.
where will you allow folks to reprioritize your energy and your resources is the question. And how do you do that for those folks, and how do you say no to the folks you cannot? Larry, how do you do
just-
it?
you just
Jamie,
say no.
how are we all
Well,
doing it
and
wrong?
Larry, you had phrased this question. You said, when you set priority for projects, because we all have to prioritize projects, who is that priority gatekeeper? And how are we
There it
determining
is. That's the
That was your question the other day. So
Well,
Yes.
I mean, because typically I am the gatekeeper for all of my projects, but I report to someone, and that person reports to someone, and depending on who's requesting it, if they can go directly to that person who's 2 or 3 steps above me, my priority doesn't really matter all that much in those instances. I mean, I can still lay out the justification, and we can only do what we can do. But there are some groups on campus and some rooms on campus that I will make accommodations for. And I try to build in some of that. Like, we try to get all of our rooms done by the middle of July. And that gives us about a month. We try.
And then you take a month off and you go to France.
We know things are going to come in that will fill in that month. Like, we did 3 classrooms that weren't part of our initial plans this summer because they came up. One was a facilities request. Another one was a space management request where they were making a room that wasn't a classroom, and we only found out about it during the summer. So, like, we try to finish up all our work middle of July so that there is a buffer. But even with that being said, like, this week I got another request, and as long as it's just like a small change, I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. But, like, at this point, yeah, if it's beyond that, I can't do anything for you.
Are there certain types of things that you can squeeze in better than other things?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
Just depends on the variables.
It's a magnitude and scope and scale here, right? And so that's okay.
Yeah, and there's also the reasonable something. Sure, make up a word.
Say reasonability?
Reasonability.
Yeah, sure. There.
How reasonable is the request?
I'll have to check the reasonability scale.
And I think even when some folks come in, what is the request? Is it just, hey, is there any way we can happen? And sometimes I'll go into wheel and deal mode. Like, no, it's not going to happen before the first day, but I can do it in the first week if you can move a class.
I'm not touching anything.
Ooh, I've made that mistake, and
I'll do it all the time.
Well, I like the wheeling dealing thing because I think that's important. Like, what skin are they putting in this game?
Exactly.
And where are they going to accommodate this?
I thought you were just going to stand there with your hand up being like, what's this worth it to you?
Well, there's been times.
Well, I would say, hey, man, that sounds like you're going to be making cookies for the crew here.
I've said that before, too. I'm like, well, okay.
Like, if I had $300 in my hand right now, maybe this goes on the calendar
I might
for
need a
tomorrow.
new storage space. Do you have an extra space? Then I'll pump you up the list. But we start wheeling and dealing sometimes. And I've even had let's go back to the higher ups, a provost office, the chancellor's office. They come in and say, well, no, this will be done. And I'll even go into wheel deal there. Mm-hmm. But like, okay, you're up
what
next.
What would you like me to say no to accommodate
But
this?
Exactly.
When
That's
I
what I was just saying.
When I don't finish this, I'm name dropping you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's
and they're like, and a lot of times at that point they're like, well, that's a headache. I don't want that. And I'm like, okay, but sometimes they do it, and I still try to accommodate because a lot of times
you put a sign on your desk that says, "This room not fully complete because of Chancellor so and so."
Yeah.
That's what I was just
This
talking
incomplete
about.
room brought to you by
That's what I was
CIO's
just-
office.
It's on the
Absolutely.
projector warm-up screen.
Yes,
Every time
It's
it
not
drops,
available in
it's just
this
right
room because
Absolutely. I will send so let's say the Friday before school starts, if we're not going to have it finished and we're not approved for overtime, which happens, then I will tell the registrar that room did not get completed because of a change in priority dictated by the office of the provost. Please contact, and then so anybody that's upset gets that from the register, or the register sends that out and says, oh, by the way, Monday, your class isn't going to be done. And
That's
here's why.
That's how you say no.
So when the instructor that doesn't read the email comes in and calls the intercom button to the help desk because their room doesn't work.
No intercom button.
Yeah, we don't have that
That's
either.
the last thing that goes in.
I'm
It's
on
definitely not
Jamie's
done.
side.
Yeah.
This is Jamie. I'm on your side, buddy. This is
No, a lot of times I can make it work. And if it's like we need two whole 200-seat auditoriums done in the next 3 weeks, the answer is no.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
But otherwise, if it's a smaller room, and I'll say, if you can move classes the second week of school, I need 3 days, I need 4 days, whatever I need.
yeah, I can.
But you got to move everything out of there, and I will complete it in a minute. But I got 30 I have to do in the next 2 weeks, and you're not on the list.
Well, you just said 4 days, and now it's a minute.
Make up your mind.
My people are getting better and better as long as they're not on scooters. Sure. But
that's bad.
But they
Well,
that's how I
let's
kind of
take
deal with some of these.
Let's take a step back. What about those? So at which point in the, let's just say spring, because we're all good planners, we've got all our schedules and Gantt charts mapped out perfectly.
July 1st.
We know what we're doing. in all summer up until whatever our cutoff date, August 1st, August 15th, wherever that lands, or for Mark for you, first week of September, whatever, mid-September, Christmas.
He never.
November 7th.
At which point, because people, they always have these end of year monies left over. Oh, here it is, mid-April, mid-May, whatever. That's when these requests come in. There's like, oh, we do have $8,000 for that thing we talked about last year. Can we do that this summer? And they're asking you this like on May 19th.
This is the year I stopped dealing with end of year monies. I'm done with it.
No, most of those I try to get in.
What?
Really, my cutoff is around June 30th.
What?
Because
There's
that
any new projects?
Are you talking about tickets?
No. If somebody,
how do you order
if
something?
somebody at the end of the, because about July 1st, you have about 8 to 9 weeks prior to the first week of school. You have just enough
Chris
time.
is talking about financial new year here, and money's being able to be spent and cleared off the books.
Yeah, it has to be spent by July 1st, right? So that's all the way up to June 30th.
See, I
and
can't
if I
spend
can
it
buy
until
it
it's
June 30th,
here.
I'll try it.
I can't
can't
pay
pay
for something
for
until
it
it's
till
on the
it's-
dock.
Correct. It has to be encumbered and received, and then
that's
marked
what's
off accordingly.
supposed to be.
And by that point, my schedule's already booked. Like, there's no way I can fit that in.
Jamie, I'm not behind you on this one, buddy.
Sure you can.
You're on your own. I don't know.
Get it in.
Team Jamie, now I'm out.
You're hanging way
I'm
out
out
there on that one.
You can get it in
I'm
there.
out.
Again,
can't.
it's how reasonable is it? What's the worst thing that, I mean, normally those last minute
The worst thing
purchases,
you
can
get
I have
fired.
an 86-inch screen and a sound bar? Yeah.
The worst thing is you
Can
get
I have
fired.
a small, simple
That's what
classroom?
happens.
Sure. Can I get a stadium? No, that's an obvious different question. That's not a cat. These are small little turnovers. End of year money usually isn't great. It's not giant.
Delicious turnovers.
But your classroom requires a lectern. That's 6 weeks. Like, I think that's not something.
Unless you just
you're
have a
gonna-
bunch of them,
Okay.
which I
But
do.
again,
But
we
you
look
can't
at this.
sell those
If
to
it can be done,
Well,
I'll try to get it in.
Do you
If
all
it can
get
be
like
done, I'll try.
wholesale classroom requests at the last minute? Is that
Yes.
a common? You do?
Occasionally,
Sometimes, not a
that's
lot.
that's
So
where that
we'll
July
get like
comes in.
the errant. Oh, we're gonna like do an abatement in this room. Can you accommodate? Remove the stuff and clean up, put it back.
That happens more often than like,
That's-
I forgot to involve AV in this project.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, I got
usually it's
2 of
we've
those
already
last week.
removed your stuff, and there's a bunch of wires hanging out of the wall. You
Yeah,
can't
we
look
just
at
took
it.
a.
Yeah, that's not
head
fun.
shares.
You just have to deal with that.
But no, I got one this summer where we got a request for a room, and it's kind of a strange, specialized semi-lab space. The door is always locked; you can never get in there, and we're kind of hands off on it. We got a request from the professor who runs it, and he says he got some grant funding. Is there any way we can do this year? And I was just like,
See what we can
dude,
do.
there's no way. But to Jamie's point, we were able to wheel and deal, and because of the nature of the space and the limited student population who uses it, all the classes run through this one professor. And he was like, I can move classes out of this room for a week if you guys need it. And I told him, okay, but this is going to be October. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah.
And if they're
to wedge this in
accommodating,
there.
you kind of want to help them out a little bit.
yeah.
though,
I will.
you know,
I will.
so.
If
But
it's,
he
if it's
recognized, and you can see in
able
his
to be
face, he
done.
recognized that like he's asking this question in like the third week in June. Is there any way? And I'm just like,
The fast element is not cheap.
Yeah, and I look at them.
That's the equation.
I just look at it like I look at the whole project. Right? Can it be done? Sure. Let's see what we can do to make that happen for you. To Larry's point, if I have to order custom furniture, hell no, it's not going to happen. But we tell them that like it's a 12-week lead time on furniture, and you're 8 weeks out. There's no way. And that usually, but
So
I'll
the other
try
4
to
weeks early.
I try to accommodate a whole heck of a lot that I probably shouldn't, but we do anyway.
yeah, we hear about it every week.
Yeah, and then you don't
And-
show up for the show because you're working till midnight on Fridays and all this other crap.
It's all kinds of work, but
Keeping those
Working for that
relationships
weekend.
intact. Yeah.
To go to Mark's point, though, like about the fast option not being cheap, like if it's a rush job that they absolutely have to have and I don't have time,
Farm it.
that's when I will call in outside integrators.
But those
Whoa,
are
but that
they're
just adds
busy
more
too,
work to
though.
you.
They're trying.
It's
they're
my
No, but-
work, but I keep my guys protected like that.
I
'cause
think
can
what happens is
PM it and I can program it.
The folks that do that ask, right? And they learn the value of the service that you're bringing to the table. They're calling you for a reason to begin with.
yeah.
Right, and so they're like, "Well, I'll call you because you guys do this and blah blah blah, and it's gonna be cheap for me to do that." But they've lost sight of that, the quickness and the speed piece, and it's like, okay, well, let me introduce you to insert integrator of choice, and you can now understand the total value that we're bringing to the table for the organization.
cost.
And then they understand, oh wow, next time I guess I'll try to involve you 6 months prior. Now, going back to the creative wheeling and dealing, like there's sometimes when people can be accommodating, and it's like, well, we need to get the stuff here. Sometimes I'll do a multi thing where I will spend it. I will spend your money, and then we'll store this somewhere so that we can get to the physical installation later on.
And I've done a number of those this summer to like, hey, your request came in April. We can order gear and receive it, but we can't do the installation until X date.
Correct.
So I have a storage room full of stuff.
And you'll be on the calendar. We'll give you boom, you're on the calendar. It's just not going to be during summer.
And that's when you kind of get to that. Now, if they're unreasonable, like it has to be done, no questions asked, then the Justin's hard answer of no, it can't be done. And then, I'll give out the integrators thing. And then, it's one phone call and they're like, never mind, I'll wait.
Yeah, then they come, you know what? Turns out we're going to be able to find a couple weeks for you in October. And yeah, exactly.
And a lot of folks,
otherwise.
Yeah, a lot of folks. I look at it, and so the grant funding one, right? These ones that like I said, July 1st, maybe they did order the equipment or they got a grant or they're trying to bridge that gap. Like, I'm going to order the equipment here, but I'll pay your labor there. Right? That kind of thing. Well, that's where that kind of deadline comes into play. We just make it work. I try to take care of these people. Usually their places, the last minute requests is money that they didn't expect. It's usually places that they never get an update. And the final thing is that's usually the room. It's such a royal pain in the ass that I want to fix it anyway because I'm tired of dealing with it.
So
Joe, the answer to that is no.
No.
All right,
By
so
the
you gotta,
way, Joe.
Well, if you're gonna respond to his question, you got to read it.
Yeah,
So
read it.
Joe Way, hey Joe, how's it going? Joe Way, a friend of the show, reaches out and he says, "Do any of you charge based on time? We give quotes based on how much time, i.e., 3 to 6 months, normal cost, 1 to 2 months, premium pricing, less than 1 month, sub out at close to double." So basically, prioritizing based on how much time is available. If this is something we can slot into our
That's actually not how I see it, though, Chris. I see it based upon the rich get richer. So the more money you have, the quicker your projects get done. So with us being a ramp model and everybody's got their own money, you would have pitchforks out there just.
Can I just do it as a
no, it
service, Joe, and
wouldn't.
just give you the premium, and you're just standing by at all hours? So I
guess-
can just do that whenever I
If
want.
everybody had the same amount of money, then
The
yes,
Amazon
that would
Prime
work.
account? Yeah.
Like if everything was equal, then people could choose. Like,
So
I'm going
I
to spend
guess
more of
that-
my budget. Then yes, that would
raises-
work.
That's an interesting business model to say, like, here's our regular service fees, but if you want the rush install or something, it's more expensive. So.
I haven't thought of it in the way that Joe put. I kind of like it actually, but I guess I'm
I
doing
like
that
it. It's just,
inadvertently. Is that we have a lot of general scheduled classes. It might be in a professional building. I'm responsible for replacement of generally scheduled stuff. If said professional school says we want to replace that building, when are you going to do it? Well, on my general scheduled replacement cycle, you're 3 years out. But if you pay for it, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the money, that's that rich get richer. So I don't necessarily, I kind of like that idea of saying, hey, if it's a typical planning
Are
period.
you
it's
all doing
normal.
cost recovery on your time? I think that's the question.
Only
Some of it.
only certain places.
Right. And so
Yes,
we
some of it.
try not to. We really, 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 really try to not
I know
to
you
do
don't.
that.
And in my opinion, I think I think I will say this. I'm split on it. I think it's a great service to campus. I think it also 100% devalues your service. So
Yep.
The way I look at it is, okay, so our funding for our installer and programmers got pulled and said, hey, you either have to fire them or figure out how to fund their positions.
recovery.
So the only way that we could fund their positions and keep them on without firing them is charge departments. So
yes,
certain individuals, not everybody of a project gets labor charge because they were about to get fired. Like my labor, design labor, project management labor,
I don't think it was phrased exactly that way, but I see what you're saying.
we don't charge for that because I wasn't, on the chopping block, if you will,
Yet.
because of budgets yet.
Yet.
But if my position is chopped, then we're going to have to charge labor for my work that somebody's, I mean,
you
that's,
become a service center and your
Yeah.
revenue. Like right now, we're finding that we're not in a service center. We do have a service center that we can operate, but it's not really for installation and all that stuff. It's really for events and a whole different gamut of work. And so it's a balancing act. And I think we do have to continually say, this is the value we're bringing to the organization. Look at how much we were able to get done. And here's market rate for that. So there is an assessment of that time and kind of what that forecasted calendar looks like. So the university understands, like, here's the work and here's the good work this organization is doing. And we want to make sure that all the colleges have access to that capability. There are departmental and GP rooms. And like we said, we try to do everything we can to not have to nickel and dime, because fundamentally you're just taking university money and just moving it around.
Hey,
Every time I
look,
design a
Monopoly
building-
money's fun.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is every time I design a building for campus on a capital construction project, I save the university $200,000 per project.
Yeah, because we run, even when we charge at slightly less than market rates. And that's one of the things, as I do big projects and they go out to bid, one of the questions we ask people is, hey, what do you charge for the following services? For design, for engineering, for install, for service calls, for after-hour service calls, all that stuff. So we have numbers. So every couple of months, we're getting updated market rates from multiple bidders on that. So we adjust our fees accordingly, but we still come in under. Again, I think it would be great if we didn't have to charge, but I think it devalues the services you provide. And we see the opposite, Mark, to what you described. We do charge, and I say charge with the most condescending air quotes possible for event services, to the point where the staff who I send out there lose money to be there.
Yeah.
Which means we get tons and tons and tons of last minute event requests because it's $30. Yeah, we need it tomorrow morning.
Really?
My question is, if your positions are funded by the university, then if you charge for that labor, what are you doing with that money? Because now you're for profit.
It's not our primary purpose, though. Our primary purpose is not events. It is to support classes.
Well, I mean, I get the events, but let's say that
You're
you
saying
charge labor for classrooms or AV for your daily stuff.
We're not allowed to make money on our labor.
Yeah.
We can't.
No.
So what do you mean? So do you charge for labor then?
It pays salaries.
Even if
It pays salary because your salaries aren't funded by a central pot.
But we have a core contingency.
My question is, for those who charge that are centrally
areas.
funded, what do you do with that money? How do you validate that? Because that's
Lamborghini
for
cars.
profit.
We don't.
I was going to say, does that exist out there?
We
for the
technically,
university?
if so, here's an instance where we would charge. If say it's going to be a departmental space and they're giving me a hell of a time, they really want us to bend over backwards and do this space. Like, you know what? Fine, we're going to do it for you. We're going to accommodate it, but we have to charge you for labor. It's going to come in. It's going to go back to the organization. We're not going to see it. It's not going to go to our people. It
goes to the general fund.
It just goes in. Yeah, it's not.
But it goes to your department, or does it goes to
no.
the central fund?
It goes. It's a JV'd internal index and never comes back to our organization.
Ours is basically labor cost recovery, because our labor is supposed to be dedicated to keeping the university classrooms running. If we get down that road, it's time and materials at that point. We have a bunch of service agreements too with different departments so that we just fix it and there is no labor charge at that point, which is the best way to go. But a lot of that goes back into helping support my employees, because I can hire more if we're doing that kind of work, right? I can have a programmer, I can have a designer, but sometimes it does hit my account and I can upgrade somebody else's room with whatever that surplus is. So by the end of the year, it all gets recycled right back into the classrooms. And I have so many service agreements now with everybody that I don't have to do that often. But when they do, we all know the schools that have money. And
They can come in as service
comes?
credits and offset what we're pulling from the central fund, and so they do assess that every year. Yeah, they're like, oh, well, are you anticipating doing this amount of service credit this year? And I call it orange dollars, green dollars, and so it's internal, right? And so but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to be doing that? Because they ask you every year, are you going to do it again? Are you going to do it again? It's like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do again. I can't forecast that piece out.
So we're a little off topic here.
What?
As far as
Are we?
as far as but what I want to do is get back to how do we, when we get these last minute requests, because we're not going to not get them, how do we even internally prioritize which ones we're going to try to accomplish? There's that question of that several of us have mentioned it, like the general inventory, general pool, whatever you want to call it, classrooms versus departmental, administrative spaces versus teaching spaces, instructional spaces versus non-instructional spaces for athletics or the student union or whatever. We get all these requests. They all come in at basically the same level. We need X, Y, and Z by ABC date. How do we even internally prioritize which ones we're going to even attempt to do?
You get deadline dates?
So what is our process for that? Because I've had great success playing the administrative versus academic card. But I'm curious to the rest of you, how do you address
in what
those when they
way?
come in?
Wait, explain that.
Give me your take on that.
I will prioritize anything that is a teaching space, academic space, over anything that's an administrative space, unless they play the provost president card, which they've done.
Okay.
Same.
But
Agreed. Yes.
deans, chairs, doesn't matter when I'm going to go do classrooms, because we go based on what the registrar says as far as priority, which rooms are not priority, utilization. Sorry, people never push back. You can see it. They'll say, "How come you're doing those rooms and not my room?" Registrar utilization priority, and they're like, "Damn it," because they know.
When does something hit your calendar?
Yes.
I don't understand the question.
So from
When the
consult
request
to
comes in?
on your calendar, when is it a live thing? So you've met with them. When do you have it on your install calendar?
When we
it-
get an approval to order.
When they've paid for it.
Yeah.
Not when they paid for it, when they approved it. They
No.
pay for it after we're done.
I think this is going to be the devil here. Is how this is
I guess
actually handled.
and I may be
No.
misunderstanding your question, but I have all sorts of projects that are just like TBD limbo land out there that don't do anything until I get an account string.
Yeah.
That's the approval.
So
yeah.
we will not
No.
schedule until we have
Yeah.
the material on
There.
Same.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we get the approval. We spend
No,
the
we
money,
pencil
but we
schedule.
don't schedule
Yeah.
anything until
I
it's
mean,
arrived.
not
So I
hard
ju-
schedule, we pencil schedule.
Yeah,
We tell people this is what you're going to anticipate in that proposal. If you
We're not
approve
in
this,
COVID anymore.
respond with this index. It's going to be X amount of weeks
Yeah.
before the material's here. Once it's here, so and so is going to reach out to you to coordinate your
Correct.
installation.
Yeah.
It may be
Yeah.
some point during
But
this
I
time.
still go through. I just did it this
Still
morning. I still go
forecast.
through all the way through January on what projects we have going, approximately when, and some of them are booked solid, and some are tentative based on estimated dates. And
Yeah, if we
to your
know
point-
if people are flexible and they know it's going to be in the future, then we can say, yeah, well, we're going to put you in January, we're going to put you in February because we know we're going to get the stuff well before that, and that's when you're going to be
correct,
flexible.
but remember the initial ask that came in was like these last minute requests that they still want to try to do before classes start or the new semester or whatever, which means in a lot of cases no. And if we're booked with academic stuff, then sorry, we can't do your conference room, but we can do your conference room in September, October, November, whenever. So if that answers the question you're asking.
So we will accommodate where we can because, going back to Jamie's thing, right? It's like, hey, we're probably not going to get you in here before classes start, but I have this room right next door. It's rocking. We can get you. We'll work with the registrar, find you openings for your classes for that first 2 weeks. We'll get you in there and we'll prioritize you right up. That's the fastest. I can't get you into like premium, but I can get you into business class if that's what you want.
Business class is above premium.
What?
Is it? Maybe backwards.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't fly
It's-
that.
You're going to be at the back of the plane either way.
Spirit Airlines doesn't
That's
have
in
that.
economy basic. Yeah, if you're in Spirit, the whole thing is economy basic.
You don't have a seat, dude.
And you're going to get in a fight at the check-in desk.
Arguably that's better than Larry's last flight. So
I still haven't flown again.
So going back to the admin or other thing, I find a lot of the oddball non-academic requests are actually the ones that are actually easier to get in, and we can pepper
Yes.
those in. Right?
Sometimes, yes.
Now, I'm not talking about all the whizzy bang. I want 14,000 motion tracking cameras in here, and blah, blah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about soundbar,
You don't want
display
that?
on the wall, your medium collaboration spaces. Those ones we can bang out pretty quick. And I have a
Yeah, the term
student
used to be
army
hang and
that just
bang,
like
yes, but-
can just rock those things out.
Now, I will have those on like a soft schedule throughout the summer that if we get done with our classroom spaces on Wednesday and we got a couple of days free, I'll work with
those,
them and
those
say,
are
hey,
known as ankle biters, and they fill in where you have gaps. in the
yeah,
schedule.
like wherever I can put those in, I can put those in. But I let them know up front, summer is dedicated to classroom spaces. If we can work you in, great. But if not, plan for this to happen middle of September.
or for Mark
Working you
October.
in.
Trying.
Do you get the buy-in from the people actually doing the work before you commit to that? Like, hey, we got some
No, I
extra
try to keep-
work. We're going to schedule
try to-
another project. Or are you just going to like, hey, Monday
Do you have to
morning,
go-
guess
You have to
what?
go convince your staff to do it, or they're just like, we're not doing that.
I try
I
to
mean,
keep
if
their
They
work.
wrapped up on Wednesday.
I mean, no,
Like,
it's,
hey, we're going
I
to do this
mean,
on Thursday.
We're leaving. We're
when
going
you have
fishing.
a certain plan for the summer and you start adding shit without getting buy-in,
Don't
that's,
have a plan, and it all
So-
just works.
We
So
feel
just-
suffer
that's-
throughout the whole thing.
to your point,
that's one way to do it.
to your point, Justin, or to your question, Justin, we did that this summer. We had 17 rooms we're doing, whatever. And we snuck in a couple more on top of that.
Yep.
Is that,
And
is
back-
that normal capacity for you though? Or do you feel that you were like working the team to the bone here?
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
comfortably busy
80%,
is what I call it.
90%,
When-
I want them
100%.
comfortably busy.
When we added a few more initially because of some pushback, hey, we're going to do these in the fall, and we got some pushback hard from some departments based on how they use these rooms. I get it. Unfortunately, we agreed too many, like we can do that this summer, and it became too much. So we kind of figured out what our capacity is and just like this was too much. It's a pain. So we're going to be right up until like Friday at 5 p.m. before classes start to get it done, which will get them done. But it's never a comfortable situation to know that that's what the next few weeks are going to be like. And so we have to adjust for that and try to accommodate what needs to be done, but also be a little more less accommodating? Is that the I don't know? What's
A
the
little more
diplomatic way
less
to say it?
accommodating.
So do you have like
You know
a
what I mean.
freeze period before classes start where you just say, okay, for these 2 weeks, we're not doing anything other than room
Yeah,
checks
we did, and then the projects
supporting?
ran right into that. So
Yeah,
And they
we
always
don't-
will. Yeah.
No,
No,
we have a freeze point for like.
oh no, Larry, it started that way, and then stuff got kind of pushed into it, and it became a whole thing. So yes.
we're in the middle of that now. Imaging classrooms, imaging labs,
See, that's where we don't.
and checking rooms.
Yeah, we have another group who does that. We just have to go fix everything, which is aggravating to no end.
Yeah, and so, around the
I
week,
just would take the
week
small
before
victory that they no
school.
longer image the weekend before classes.
Yeah, and
just
somewhere
push the
around the
image,
week
they don't
before
test it.
school, I'll release the part timers from the project, the installation work, and
Like
they're
from a
doing all the
cage.
checks, they're doing all the certifications. But
And that's what students are doing for me right now. It's like we need 350 spaces checked in the next week and a half. So jump
go
on
get it.
I do want
Get
to
your steps
acknowledge
Not on
the post here.
scooters.
This post up again. I'm gonna throw it up here again because do you all get this one often? Can you guys just do this over the holiday break?
Oh yeah.
And how often?
I don't get that.
That's the one we end up having to say. Well, what are you doing over the holiday break? And well, I'm going to be home with my friends.
so
Would
I'll
you
be
like to come in
really
here and
honest.
work on this?
We did that last year. Hey, we got 3 weeks before. So we start in January. We don't start the first week. We start right after MLK. So we did that the first 3 weeks in January. We had, okay, let's do that. And my staff not only about murdered me, but I even lost an engineer on it.
I don't-
We haven't found him yet.
That
but
buying.
I left
Yeah.
IU because of that.
yes.
No, I
and
don't.
so-
Wait, hold
think
on.
we-
You don't
we-
do anything during that time?
Yeah. So I think
We're
we
more
all have
selective
to-
of the things we do.
We all have to go through that process once or twice to recognize that that's not a good use of our time. There are other things we need to be doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
We schedule over the winter break, but we got to.
I am
we have
more-
weeks off, and then plus there's downtime for classes, and then there's
I'm more stringent upon what I will select and not select at that winter break, but I will squeeze in as much as humanly possible because during the work
Jamie,
time.
I am on your team on this one. It was my team who came back and said, "You do that
If, they,
again." and
if they're
we
on
will
vacation
string
or
you up
whatever,
and murder
fine.
you."
I don't.
I mean,
No,
I
no,
guess
this was after
hold
vacation.
on. So is
with
the
Joe, I'm with
university
Don.
open
They're
or
like-
closed?
Open.
Oh,
Then work.
Let me. Okay.
Offices are
let me-
open,
Let me take a
students are
step
not
back.
here.
Let me take a step
I
back.
don't understand the problem
okay,
here.
Hold on. Holiday break. There are two things going on holiday break. One, no classes. But then there is
Correct.
like the second super duper holiday break, university closed.
yes.
During that week and a half, no, we're not doing anything. We
Yeah,
are
closed
gone.
is closed.
I'm talking about that, like you have a week or so before that, and then you have about 3 weeks after that when
We always
university's
slide
open.
in a project or two during that time.
Correct.
We'll
Those
slide
I always
in
find
some.
that people think that you can do really, really overly complex projects during
There,
a
okay.
little tiny thing,
All
and
right.
it's not possible to do your 15 rooms because we're
No.
closed for 4 days. It's not.
We'll do
gonna
one or
happen.
two rooms here and there, just something nice and easy, like
Yeah.
nothing complicated. Just maybe some huddle rooms.
I'm
meeting
more
rooms.
protective of what I can get done during that break. Thanksgiving's the one that gets us.
Yeah, I've been burned. by
I don't
that
do
one.
anything.
Those are
Thanksgiving-
tickets. That's
I had
tickets.
the most stress in my
Thanksgiving's the
life
one-
over Thanksgiving over
Because
college
everybody
business.
looks at it and says, "Well, you have 3 free days there,"
Yeah, there's no classes all week. Go get to it.
and that's where I have more arguments with folks. It's like, okay, you're right, but if I don't get it done in those 3 days,
It's not really
are you
3
willing
days.
to sacrifice your first week
odd
back?
day.
It's like one day because the first day's set up and and then really
Well,
get
I
going. The
just-
second day, third day is programming test. like then
First
it's
day we just move gear over there.
done.
Second day
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
unpack things.
So
sometimes that
that's-
shit
Off
happens.
early,
You're like,
so-
what'd you do today? Well, we moved stuff. Well,
But
Watching the parade.
those two holiday breaks or spring break is
Yeah.
the same.
Yep.
The same. Those I'm much more stringent. I'm much more particular. I'm much faster to pull the no card. This summer, right before school thing, if I can accommodate it, I try.
Like a soccer card, you have one, just like bang. Nope.
I actually have 4 or 5.
Too much. Let's just replace what needs to be replaced. Like that's what that list is, and I'm already
Yeah, shouldn't
leaving
that be what
stuff
you're
in
doing
there.
anyway?
So it was I was cutting corners to like, okay, we can leave your existing projectors, we can leave your existing microphones, we can leave some. And it's like I'm not comfortable doing this, but we'll make accommodations.
At a certain point, it makes it worse when you're trying to
It
like
did.
leave things there. You're just trying to
Yeah.
like work around that crap.
So I've run into that in recent, like in the last say year or so. hey, I've got a bunch of, and we all have them, the dingly-dangly golf ball microphones, which are fine microphones. They're all
golf.
for golf. They all talk over a digital system to high-quality digital signal processors. They sound great. And we thought, great. As we remove these, we can reuse them, but the amount of effort, energy, and time to put those back versus putting in a single array that does the entire room, yeah, those are all gone. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, we've gone way over on that. So any last thoughts about our last-minute project requests and how we respond to them?
Could you guys accommodate this, please?
Just say no. It's like
Nah,
drugs.
I'll see what I can
Say
do.
no.
Man, I feel like a sleazy car salesman. I'll see what I can do. Let me
You
go
say
talk to my
no by
manager.
not
Let me
using
go
the
talk
word
to my
no.
sales manager.
Really, it's more like the dad card. Can I have ice cream? We'll see.
Ask your mother.
The answer to that was no.
But you don't want to say no, but you're just like, well, it depends.
We'll see what happens. Can we stop by McD's on the way home? Yeah, we'll see.
We
You
have McDonald's
passed
at
it.
home.
I missed the turn.
Forgot.
Last time you didn't need it. Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about continue on preventive maintenance. We're going to talk
We
about
got
room
more stuff to
checks.
talk about. Damn.
Yes, we
Oh,
always
more.
have more stuff to talk about, Justin. Remember, this is the most professionally relevant show that's out there. So
Questionable.
Tired of chasing down those pesky AVIXA CTS renewal units, CompTIA continuing ed credits, or PMI PDUs? What if I told you there's a better, totally legit, absolutely not questionable way? Independent Amalgamated is proud to introduce Cred Exchange, the underground marketplace that takes the pain out of certification upkeep. Buy, sell, and trade your hard-earned credits with professionals just as savvy as you. Need bulk credits? Get huge discounts when you buy renewal units by the dozen. Even better, sign up friends, colleagues, and random strangers under your membership and you'll earn a tidy 10% of every credit they trade. Pyramid schemes? Nah, it's a pyramid of possibilities. Act now before your certification expires and your dignity follows suit. Cred Exchange, because your certification should never stand in the way of your career ambitions. This message is definitely not endorsed by any of the issuing agencies. Terms and conditions are shady at best.
After that
Credit Exchange is
discussion, I feel like that should be part of all of our contracts after our discussion.
what?
Your data is shady best.
Preventive. Well, you guys went way too way too
What?
all that stuff.
What?
You guys started talking about like budgeting,
Stuff?
Show.
how your stuff is all put together. So don't do that. All right. So for this one, it's kind of like this came up as far as what does preventive maintenance mean? I've seen listserv messages on this recently. Hey, what are we doing for room checks? How often do we check? I'll be brutally honest. When I got to Wyoming 4 years ago, they did room checks once a year, sometimes twice, right before the beginning of each semester. I'm like, you're just leaving them hanging out there until you go in before every semester, which I found to be, kind of strange and anathema, and said, yes, I said that. Why don't we just do this continuously? And that was kind
Well,
of
that's
like,
when the instructors check the rooms.
yes, the
And
instructors
then
let
you
us know
every day.
Then you
it's
get
working.
tickets.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a
best
punch
was
item.
They tell us.
It's a punch
And they
item
have
there.
to fill out that form just as fast as everybody else.
So for the
Yeah.
most part, and it does slow down obviously during the summer and during breaks because we have other things going. As we just discussed, listen to the last 45 minutes. You want information on that. For the most part, we check rooms continuously all the way through to the point where we even have goals as far as how often, depending on what type of room it is, we're actually checking. So what about y'all?
It's a schedule. Get out there, get those students going on it. Right? They're out there doing their checks. Monthly, weekly, as much as you can, catch that stuff. They get to learn what's out there, learn how it works, how it doesn't work, if it's broken, if it's not broken, how to replace it. But then they have the check sheet, and this is like kudos to Lawrence, Cam, Don. They run this whole thing, and they're
Whoa.
out there doing it. And,
Don?
yeah, he's out there. There's a bit of like mystical arts to scheduling that when students are available, when the room's available, getting in and getting that cadence right. And that's
Actually, I guess
it takes a little bit.
Does Lawrence and Don, do they schedule that for the students, or do they make that the student responsibility? Here's the rooms you have to get to and what fits for your schedule.
Yes. It's a bit of both. They try to put those schedules together and balancing a host army of students and when their rooms are available and what's going on a weekly basis. It's a lot, and creating that per term, it's a lot to get to, and it takes a lot of coordination to actually get it right.
We try to get to every space during the normal school year. We try to get to every space 2 to 3 times a week. Now you get interrupted by trouble here, trouble there, or you can't get into.
That's a lot. 2 to 3 times.
2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah. So yes, I will. Larry just exploded.
Really
Larry
early.
just migrated to a nuclear site or something.
Yes.
Where'd you
Larry,
go?
whatever you did when you answered a phone call on your system, it broke everything. So
Is that Teams?
busted it.
anyway,
Microsoft helping Larry out
yeah,
since
Larry, you're all
forever.
jacked up. It is.
Okay, I'm out.
Wow.
You were on the wrong
Whoa.
you were
Larry's
on,
in a
like,
cave.
your
he's
mic
done.
switched.
No,
I
but
think a
that,
Teams call came through on Larry's computer and broke everything.
that's part of why we have our student part-time workers is one of their responsibilities to check all these rooms. A lot of times we try to get them in early, like that 7 o'clock
Yeah, I
hour.
was going to say, Jamie, talk about that because UMKC is unique. I've never found any other campus, and I've worked at all of them. I've never found any other campus that uses the same model of having people in as early as like 5 in the morning to address some of these things with the goal of checking almost every space, almost every day before people hit campus.
There's no way.
We used to, and it was very
There
successful.
are some campuses do that. They do readiness checks and they do like daily.
We
We
had
have like
we have a full timer that comes in
700-800 rooms.
and then we have 3 to 4. They don't check every single administrative conference room, every single departmental
We have
space,
that many classrooms probably.
But-
I mean, it's
but we have and some part timers that come in early. And one of the bonuses for them is that their workday's done early. They can have another job somewhere else, do their homework at night, do whatever they're going to do.
That's win-win. You can go home and have
you
another
can have
job.
2 jobs.
Well,
you win in life.
But that's
Like,
but student workers can only work 20 hours. And that's sometimes not
Well,
enough
yeah.
money because let's face it, we don't always pay the best. So go work at McDonald's tonight. I don't care because they pay better. But
Aren't they supposed to sleep and do work at some like
they're
class?
students. They
Homework?
don't sleep.
Sleep-
They-
sleep
Just
when you're
checking.
dead.
I mean, I don't keep track
look,
of
and we
everything.
and look,
more
we don't do
amphetamines.
hangover tests when they come in. We just trust that they're sober. Because at 5 in the morning, you're never sure. But we don't. We've kind of moved away from that. So we may have a couple of come in like 6:30, 7 o'clock because what we found is the registrar is it's kind of changed the. So a lot of the room are still available up to 8:39, and so they can run through it at a more reasonable hour. But yeah, 2 to 3 times a week, we try to hit at least every room, and just do system checks, and that's what a lot of these guys are doing.
Are your students putting in tickets when they find them, or are they like?
What's your ROI on that? Like, how many problems do you?
And is it
Fine,
qualitative or just quantitative? Because that's the reason I send room checks out is to see like the stuff you can't tell through your monitoring system.
Through your Allen
Well,
One
but-
console.
Yeah.
So
Juicy.
But we don't have all those metrics, but that's that red light, green light thing. So even though it says red light, it might still be working.
Yeah.
We don't care at this point. Sometimes it's a mouse cable got broke, or somebody doesn't like there's a camera on the thing and they've torn apart, or they're fixing the little BS stuff that somebody's tried to quote help us with.
I mean, are they taking their directive from like tickets, or is it just on? They have
No, they have a
quadrant of the
list.
campus. They're just out there running.
You have these 4 buildings, get to as many rooms as you can in the amount of time that you have to work, unless we reschedule you somewhere else. Outside of class times, so about the time finals start, because there's not a lot of use of our system as finals, right? We start transitioning them into intern, like more like internships, more like apprenticeships, and how to install and how to rack gear. So we don't check much of anything over the summer because we just don't have that kind of usage, and we'll just reply to tickets. But during the school year, yeah, we try to get it all done every day as much as we can. And then we have those important rooms where we have more a full-timer go check, like Chancellor's office. You know, they don't like it when we
Are
send
you all doing
some
conference
random
rooms too, or are
student
you
in.
doing just academic spaces?
Most of it's academic spaces. Conference rooms have their own unique scheduling, keys, cards, access, and usually whatever the administrative assistant, departmental assistant, they're keeping us well informed of what works or
well, no,
doesn't
yeah.
work.
Seems like it might be a little bit toasty in there. Can you guys check the AC for us?
Yeah.
No,
that
it's
kind of-
more like getting in there and making sure that the ass grooves and the chairs are just right. Just getting that all nice and pre.
I like the purple one. Where's that? The wheels fell off. Can you bring it back?
The system worked fine until you guys changed the chairs out.
I will say in general, preventive maintenance, any sort of room checks, room prep, whatever this is very, very specific to each institution, and even within that, each college's culture. Because there are some schools out there where they have people go in and reset the rooms as far as put tables and chairs back and do it multiple times a day.
No.
Whatever works for you at your campus, like lean into that. But if like anything you can do to get like, even if it's just students checking a room once a week or twice a month, you know what I mean? Once a week, once every other week. Just to catch those little things, like Jamie said, someone unplugged a USB cable, somebody, broke this little adapter, somebody snapped
Microsoft
the antenna
update.
off the mic. Well, then there's that.
Microsoft Update screws up a lot of things. The displays get flipped.
Like Larry just experienced when his mic decided to spontaneously change.
No, that's a
right.
Stream Deck thing, not a Microsoft thing.
But those are the things that,
sponsor.
to your question
Not
earlier.
anymore.
That's the kind of stuff that I want those room checks to find. Can you see it? Can you hear it? And if not, now they're not very qualitative, right? They're not saying, "Oh, the colors are off." How did this projector pass inspection? Well, it showed an image. Okay, well, technically that's correct, but the blues are yellow, so.
Or the EDID table's messed up because it's not showing the right resolution. Like, that's the stuff I want to know about.
Yeah, but that's all. Some of that's profile based, so we just get the basics. Let's go, and then we'll deal with some of that as it comes in as a ticket.
Do you have phones or anything in your rooms that ring back down?
No, we don't have ring back phones.
That's one of the tests too, making sure that stuff's in place. 'Cause,
Yeah.
man, we don't get any calls from that classroom. It's
We
like,
do
oh, phone doesn't work.
intercoms
See,
tests
we
in every room.
don't, we don't have any of those. Ours all
We
go to
used
the
to, but
central
then they
call
stopped
center.
paying for it, so I just took them all out.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody couldn't afford them, so you had to take them out.
Oh no, they could afford them. They just didn't want to. So
So do you well, well, that begs the question. I mean,
That's a whole
another
nother
show.
topic.
Another show, yeah. Do you have any like real-time mechanism for folks to communicate back with?
yeah, it's called your cell phone.
Yeah, cell phone.
Defer.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Put in a ticket.
Or
and
run down
pray.
to the office associate, and they
But the
usually
computer doesn't
call.
log in, Jamie. I can't get to put in the ticket. So okay.
There is that.
Yeah.
Call the phone.
No, I
number.
get it. I think it would be great to have a phone in every space, but before I got there, they had phones in many spaces, and they had long since stopped paying for them. So the phone when I got there were phones still physically in the space, which didn't do nothing. So I hauled all those off. So
That's fancy. You should just wire it all up as like one fancy switchboard.
well, the funny thing is,
Hey,
I had
hello.
these were like those Cisco VoIP phones, and I had this giant crate of them, and I took them down to our telecom guys who were doing the phone systems on campus. And I was like, "Do you even want these?" They're like, "They're not even compatible with the new stuff, so no, toss them." So it was the whole thing.
We gave them to you to get rid of them.
We've been selling them in rooms to hide them. So
We haven't had those in 20 years.
If we did as many
tells you when
room
these
checks
went
as
in.
Jamie, we'd just be peeking our heads in the door. Yep, the AV's there. All right.
It wasn't stolen.
Like it's
Still testing
in-
the
it's-
sound in this room.
Projector's still in the ceiling.
It's kind of like me and like a couple of my cars. I'm like, damn it, it wasn't stolen. I mean,
Yeah, that's all we would have time for.
I will say, just in general, we do leverage, and we've talked about it a number of times, but we leverage Talem 3's LSM, Learning Space Manager, because it does assessments, what they call room checks, but it does assessments. You can build them out, customize them, different versions. We're leveraging that for even commissioning now. We're making sure we're doing the same commissioning checks in every space. But it's great for the students to go in and do that. We pull real-time data from that. We synchronize that with our dashboard. So we can see kind of, hey, zone 3, we have campus zoned out accordingly, but zone 3 needs more people, or we can shift things around on schedules, because Mark, you mentioned it, like the scheduling thing. Sometimes, fall semester, zone 2 is just rocking and everything's great, and then we find that same zone, the student schedules have changed, because they do, and also the class schedules have changed, and now trying to get them lined up, we have to do some people moving around. But in general, I mean, they're catching that low-hanging fruit. They're catching that camera that is locked up in the back of the room, and a reboot fixes it. That saves us a ticket. It saves somebody having a bad experience in the space. So I'm willing to pay for that. And I have had, and to the credit of leadership at the university, I have had zero pushback on request for more students to do more preventive maintenance, because they recognize the value in it. So
yeah, that and that to piggyback on that comment from Chris, that is my entry point to get them in the door, so that I can teach them the rest of the stuff.
yes,
how you
very
start
much so.
them.
Because
build
if
them.
I try to justify students based upon building stuff, they're like, well, that's why you have full-timers. No, the students are to help me prevent tickets and to respond to low-hanging fruit, and then they get to help me on the other stuff, not the other way around. And so far it works. Till tomorrow, and I'm sure somebody will listen to this and go, "Oh yeah."
We can cut that budget now.
With these scooters. Yeah.
Well, especially the scooters.
Yeah, the scooter budget's gone.
I don't think that's a story we're going to share today.
No.
Not pending.
Something
only
tells
imagine.
me. Something tells me that that's going to violate all kinds of problems.
That's
Let's just say
fresh.
scooters are not a great thing for.
Yeah, student transportation is a challenge, so just kind of be aware of what they're doing when they leave your building. So.
Yeah, no kidding.
On the clock.
Well, so next
Off the
week we're
clock,
gonna-
who cares?
Yeah, next week we'll be back here at about the same time, 3-ish Eastern, 12-ish Pacific, somewhere in there. We're going to talk about our challenges in August and September for back-to-school stuff. Well, we've managed to ruin yet another episode of AV SuperFriends Off the Rails. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com. If you complain loud enough, we might just invite you on the show.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV SuperFriends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.